Hey, I'm
Hey.
Largo. This is the Lair. That is Wilhelm, and welcome to a special edition of the Infinite Playlist. Something a little new, a little exciting, something we haven't tried before. But in celebration of our buddy Ken Poe and his buddy Steve and his buddy Jay getting the Delta-17 website off the ground and everybody getting their dollies, we decided we wanted to put together a little special playlist to celebrate Delta 17. So if you like it, great. If not, we probably won't do it again. So we'll see.
Delta
There they
17.
are.
Yeah.
Leonidas. Any guy that comes with a doggo, that's top of my list. I'm loving that figure. We'll get into that a little bit, but we decided we wanted to bring in someone with a little more class than us to kind of raise the bar a little bit. Somebody who has some experience with military paraphernalia, toys, and whatnot. So, welcome to the stage, our good friend. It's Chad. Hey,
It's
buddy.
extreme.
Oh,
What's up, gentlemen?
Hey, Chad,
hey,
how are you, man?
I'm good. How you been?
Yeah, good.
getting there. Are you
Yeah.
stoked for some O-ring action from the Delta 17 Club?
I am always excited for not only more 118 scale toys, but just new lore, new world building, new characters with new interesting and intricate backstories. I don't need another Snake Eyes, and yeah, I'm always excited. I'm definitely excited for Delta 17, just for the guys because they're awesome and they have a very great product and world on their hands. But yeah,
Sorry, when you said that, I can see Tina Turner, belting out, "We don't need
need
another
another
snake eyes."
hero.
Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely. If it's 118 and it's good, I'm all over it. So I'm all about
Cool.
it.
Well, this is the line for you then, sir, because modern weaponry, O-ring construction, quality paint and paint apps and detail, attention to detail, we like,
Yep.
and great backstory. So to speak on that, Ken is a busy guy these days because he's getting all those cool orders coming in, making sure everybody gets their dollies. But he did send us a pre-recorded message. I'll pop that up and we'll see what he has to say.
Roll.
Jim, Will, viewers of the Infinite Playlist, and the 1A team. Just wanted to say hello, and because it's been asked out there, yes, we've had a successful initial launch for Delta 17, and I just really wanted to thank a lot of the people out there, not just the buyers and the viewers of all the channels that we're affiliated with, but also the fact that Jim and Will took the time to put together a Delta 17 specific Infinite Playlist video. And look, I looked through the playlist. I especially love the song that's been used for Shepard. I chose the song, hint hint, but Jim was the one who assigned it to Shepard, which is exactly the character I would assign it to. And when Steve, the man, the myth, the legend, who created Delta 17 initially back in early 2020, when he sees the song that was used for Shadow Dragon, he'll absolutely be thrilled by that as well. Anyway, thanks. Have a great stream, everyone. And we'll see y'all soon. And don't forget to go to delta17toys.com and get a few of these. Take care.
Thanks, Ken.
Whoa,
Ken! Hey, buddy.
Wait a second. That was an awesome video. Uh, Gotta note things first. 118 shout out. Yes, thank you
Absolutely.
very much. Thank you.
Nicely
I
done.
love it. Very nice. Ken, I do think you forgot something though, because they can use a promo code to save 10%
That's
on
right.
orders of 6 figures or more. What is that promo code again?
Delta
Uh,
10 off, all one word.
Delta 10
Right.
off. Fools,
Uh-huh.
use it. All right.
And for the viewers out there, I only found out today that Chad was going to be on the stream, so I did not shout out the car rants and the the versus streams and the all that. So
It's all good, my friend. It's all good.
yeah, but him and the longbow guys got me saying the word dollies more often now. I'm sitting there, I'm like,
He's
yeah.
made it.
So I'm just playing with my dollies today. I mean, my figure. I mean, my whatever. You know what I mean? Now it's just contagious. Like we need it on a shirt now.
figures.
Actually,
Call
yes.
them dollies. It's cool now.
They're dollies.
That's
Yeah.
it.
You know, so
Well-
I'm working on a new term. It's called collectile dysfunction.
Whoa. I think there's a pill for that. So, like we said, it's a little bit different.
Viagra. Yeah.
Toyagra, indeed.
Yeah.
Check with your doctor to see if it's right for you.
You
The
suffer
music
from
dossier,
collectile dysfunction.
indeed, is going to be all about Delta-17. We tried to match up some songs we think will fit the spirit of the characters from what we know from the backs
Sure.
of the cards and the information on the excellent website that lists the stories, the sneak peeks of who these guys are. And we'll be seeing more of that as 5x5 Toys rolls out 5x5 comics sometime in the near future. Looking forward to that.
Fingers crossed.
You know,
So-
just to say, some of the picks are just what I like or Jim likes. It's not a definitive list. I'm just some weirdo on the internet. Take it with a
Look, man, when I'm playing with my dollies, I need a good soundtrack.
Can't be weird when you're talking about dollies. You got to be serious.
So again, 5x5 Toys Limited is the name of the company. Delta-17 is the name of the toy line. And Delta17toys.com is the place to go. And once again, this is the code you need to remember.
You
Delta
figured it
10
out.
off.
Thank you.
There it is. 10% off orders of 6 or more figures. It
which
is a
easy
great
to
deal.
do. That's a no.
Oh, absolutely.
You got to go for it.
You've got some great army builders in the set. If you just want to collect one of each, you're still going to hit your 6 or more. You're going to get your 10%, but don't forget to put the code in before you hit checkout. Or
I did create code Toy
competition.
Connections for 11% off, but Steve wiped it off the platform and changed the password right off the bat. I had to click forget password, check the email, go back in, and now we're all good again.
He said, "Niet, no." But
Like,
yeah,
well,
we're stoked for this. Like we said, we just kind of put together our fun playlist for how we're going to play with our Delta-17 guys.
This is the first official playlist to the launch of a toy line. So who knows? Maybe it'll be fun and people will get into it. Maybe they've got their own playlist that they like to do and they want to come on and talk about it or comment and let us know.
Absolutely. Let us know in the comments. Speaking of things attached to this video, in the description below, you'll find a link to Delta17toys.com, as well as the playlist of videos that we've put together that complement the songs we're talking about. So you can watch those on a separate screen. You can watch them later. However you want to do it, man. I don't judge. Do you. It's all good. So here is the playlist we came up with based on the characters of Delta-17. But before we get into that, just for those kids at home who aren't real familiar with the characters, I've got a little bit of beautiful bean footage we'll roll just to give a sneak peek of who the characters are. We'll start with the Delta-17 good guys, and then we'll roll through and see what kind of music we think goes with the characters. You guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, smooth.
So
Nice.
good.
Nice.
So good. I'm going to screen cap that and reuse it at some point. Then I'll have to make my own.
I'll send you the MP4. A link
I
to an
love it.
extended version of that with more information about the characters, all gleaned from the website Delta-17 toys.com. Make sure you put the toys in there. I forgot that earlier. All this information is on the website, and it's very cool, well put together. Make sure you check out the lore of the characters before you make your purchase. I think it's worth your time. So let's just get into it. Right off the bat, Shepard is our guy. As you saw in that little clip.
Yeah, we got our team leader.
There he is.
Yeah.
Let me pop you up real big there for a second. Will, show us that beautiful figure.
Oh yeah, there's Shepard.
Very nice.
He's your team leader. He's great. I don't
Love
have
it.
all his accessories because I had him in a vehicle and I just ripped them out for the show.
No, but the night vision goggles might fall off depending on
Yeah.
what vehicle you put him in. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, it comes with a ton of goodies that are all pretty accurate to modern day weaponry, I would say. What do you think, Chad? Have you had a chance to take a look at the accoutrement of these
Yeah,
guys?
I mean, just from when I ordered them off the site, but I didn't.
Did you order using your real name? Because I didn't see it anyway. I see all the orders, and
It may have come through as my wife, though.
Ah, got it. I got you.
Let me grab him. Oh yeah, he's got that. He's got that angled foregrip on the front of his rifle, and he's got a Trigicon ACOG, and then he's got the magnifier behind it, the flip up.
Yep.
That's a good looking weapon right there.
Mhm.
And yeah,
For
for the
on
s-
and off. Yeah.
I was going to say for the scale, the amount of detail is really impressive.
What's
Steve
that
loves
other
his
weapon,
guns.
Ken?
You know, the
Is that
shotgun,
XM25?
the shotgun, or the other one.
Oh, it's just a shotgun.
Yeah,
I thought it was an XM25.
yeah. If I had the file card here, I could tell you the exact thing because they usually put it on the back. I'm not really a guns guy. Steve loves his guns. I'm more like long black gun thing that has zoom that I think we call a sniper,
Pew, pew.
pistol or sidearm or handgun. Like I'm more like
Rifle, pistol, rifle.
Yeah.
yeah. When Steve was like, okay, there's a class called AK, there's M. Start there, do some research, and then I never did.
Yeah.
So
You're ruining all the stereotypes. I thought you Canadians were very polite. You were very anti-gun. You just hung out and did curling and hockey.
well, I clearly am. You know, I can't speak for my boss.
How often do you
Fair
say
enough.
hoser?
I try not to. I mean, I use poser more than hoser, and then our buddy Gaz says, "I know you're from the '90s because that's when that term came up." Like, no, I grew up partially in the '80s. You know, I don't remember all of the '80s, but I remember some of it. So, you know,
Fair enough. Well, Ken, I know you got stuff to do, but I know this song is near and dear to your heart. Breaking Benjamin's
Yeah.
Blow Me Away, which I think is very appropriate for Shepard as a character.
Mhm. A version of it was used in the early 2000s for Halo, and I think another version may have been released in 2010. But it's funny how you read our minds really well, because when I gave you this song, I didn't say which character to assign it to, as I mentioned in the 1-minute clip, and somehow you picked up that I like it being on Shepard. Now he's
I'm
not
picking
really
up what you're putting down.
there you go, right? Like it's about, loaded, he will walk alone. He's not really a loner per se, but he can handle himself when he's on his own. And
We know he's got a past we haven't delved into, so I'm getting some vibes there.
There's a
Mhm.
past. There's
Okay.
definitely a past to a lot of things. There's been some questions, and some people thought that when they looked at his file card, they're like, there's a few things that are not practical here. I'm like, we thought of that. When you get deeper into the comic, or when we publish a few more issues, you'll know exactly why certain things are the way they are.
I'm assuming
is
that
good.
has something to
I
do
like
with the significance of his face mask as well.
I can neither deny. I just left that sentence hanging, didn't I?
It's cool. Be cryptic.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But Blow Me Away from Breaking Benjamin came out in 2010. It was used on the Halo 2 soundtrack. It is a very cool banger, as our buddy at Helidope likes to say. It's a banger.
And it's a more recent song than some of the other ones that are on this playlist.
True.
So, yeah.
Please listen to the playlist and check it out. I think it really fits well. And when you have your dollies in hand, which will come soon because shipping is pretty quick with these guys. What are we thinking ETA? Like less than a week? Have you figured that out yet? Is it
In the
still
US, usually less than a week. Like we did, I think we did like one trial order because we were trying to make sure the code was working. And the person I happened to be talking to on Messenger was like, "When can I order these?" I'm like, "I need to do a trial order because one of the codes isn't working." And then he tried it, and then it actually worked. And then he got his within about 3 or 4 business days.
Was that the Toy
Sweet.
Connections code?
Before I got banned, he got 11% off. Yeah. Unfortunately, he got a bit more of a discount than anyone. So, yeah. So, 3 or 4 business days if you're in the US.
cool?
Yeah.
So when you get your Delta-17 squads, plural, in your hands, and you want come back and check out this playlist, put the tunes, and see if you think this works for jamming out while you're playing. I think it does.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So I think this is a good fit for Shepard. Moving right along to our second in command, my personal favorite of the group. It's a toss-up. It's Leonidas and Kestrel are probably my 2 favorite as far as character development so far. But the doggo, you gotta love the doggo. Interesting character. He's a 21 Charlie in this group, which typically is a second in command of a squad of this nature. He seems to be kind of laid back. He's not much on wearing your traditional military attire, if you will. Maybe a little too laid back. I don't know, but he's all soldier when it comes down to the action getting started.
When the bullets fly, he's all soldier.
There you go.
He's at headquarters, no regulations.
I love the design. I like the fact that he's a little bit different scale than some of the other figures. He's got a different physique.
Beefy.
Beefy. Yeah. And the doggo has not been named yet. That is another mystery.
Yet. Yeah.
And that will come to light, I assume, in the 5x5 comics in the future.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Groovy. Now, are we going to see comics by Joe Fest, or has that been laid
The plan
out?
is to at least have them digitally by
Okay.
that point in time, so that anyone can
Sweet.
access them. Yeah, I mean, we got some more pages from the artist the other day, but then we still got to get them all colored.
Right.
Yeah.
Script is done. We got to get the letters done. So hopefully we get the published ones and the digital ones at the same time. But it may happen that the digital ones go up first.
I love
enough.
a physical in my hand comic, but I'd be no problem with the digital. I mean, I think that'd be great. Just to read more about the story.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
one of the things we love about what you guys are doing there with Delta-17 is something that we also love about our other favorite, well, at least my favorite, Action Force. When Bobby rolled out the figures, he already had a comic in mind.
Yep.
That came out quickly after.
Yeah.
I love world building, and you guys are doing that right. That's
That
one
Pandora
thing.
issue was
Man.
amazing.
Yeah, it was very, very well done, and totally gave you an insight into who this character is going to be in the future as this world develops. And I think we're going to see something similar with Delta-17 when those comics roll out.
I'll see. Bobby managed to get a UFC thing in there where he had Desert Rat and Condor talking about, like, did you see the fight? And I can tell it's from a few years ago because they were talking about fighters from a few years ago. I liked UFC in that era. Unfortunately, Steve wasn't a UFC guy. I'd love to throw some of that in there, but
I'm sure it'll wind its way in at some point.
If not, then it'll be hockey.
Chad, you are definitely an aficionado on the compliments of how the classic, whether it be the Marvel or some of the other runs of Joe comics, really enhance the figures, especially the early Real American Hero stuff.
Oh yeah,
I think that's something that's lacking with modern Joe, in my opinion. I know there's still comics out there, but it's not the same type of tie-in like we used to have.
No, yeah, and all that fell apart. I know we're not here to talk G.I. Joe, but because the Snake Eyes movie failed, the animated series that was going to go with it and everything else along with their plans kind of just stopped. But yeah, they have the Dark Energon universe, which is going on right now, but it's still alternate to Larry Hama's A Real American Hero run. which is
Yeah.
now in issue 304, one of the longest running comics. And but the people over at Hasbro, they sort of celebrate the fact that they don't have dedicated media to the G.I. Joe classified line, which, whatever. I don't work there. I don't make those decisions. But
Right.
you know what I do want to say? The dog bowl accessory.
Yes. Right.
Industry first. It really
There it
is.
is. It's so rad.
And you know what? I put him in a vehicle, and then I made sure I put the little dog bowl down. I took him off his backpack. I put the pup right next to his bowl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm loving the
Brilliant
dog.
how he
with it.
just pegs into that backpack.
Sweet.
The dog bowl is upside down in the packaging though. Like we wanted it the other way, but that's
Yeah.
okay. The factory just did it that way. Just like Thunder Battalion's belt is backwards in the packaging, so you gotta
Right.
turn it around. So yeah. Anyway, I gotta bow out after we talk about Leonidas because I know I wasn't even sure I'd make it today, but
Well, hey, I know you're busy. I appreciate your time. Let's slide into his song. Now, again, we don't know all the ins and outs of the characters, but just based on our first blush of looking at the card back information, we chose Suicidal Tendencies, Go and Break Down.
I
Kind of a
specifically
hardcore
chose-
song.
Yeah, this song there's just one lyric in it. It just graduated head of class, majored in kicking ass. And that was just me. It was just Leonidas. Like, the rest of the song is pretty much, in that same, vein there. But it just reminded me of him, So I was like, that's the song, That's that's listening to.
For a minute back there, if you were a Headbangers Ball fan, it seems like every week Suicidal Tendencies.
All I wanted was a Pepsi. And this album is when Mike Muir, when he was firing on all cylinders. This is a fantastic album.
Yeah,
great
there's so many
stuff.
good songs on this album. It's so good.
You Can't Bring Me Down. That's
and it was tough. But
for me, I mean, I like some of the early punk scene stuff. Suicidal Tendencies, I think, was one of the first bands that took punk and brought it into a more heavy metal vibe.
Yeah.
And they did it well. And then, of course, you got a lot of also Rans who came and copied what they were doing. But their lyrics are deep when you actually look at what they're writing about. And it's stuff from their lives. They've gone through some difficult issues personally.
Their roots are all in that whole Lords of Dogtown, like Tony Alva kind of stuff with the Rat Bones and all that. And they were really big in the early skate punk years with the Faction, like Stevie Caballero's band, and then Suicidal. They just kept going. They're such a great band.
So this particular song was from 1990. I for some reason thought it was an older song than that.
Well, the band's been around for a while.
Yeah.
I know they have. I don't know why I thought it was like a 82 song or I don't know why. Anyway,
I think the thing that for me ties it in with Leonidas, still waters run deep. He acts like he's just kind of kicked back and laid back, but I'm thinking there's more to this guy. He just doesn't let people know. He's one who can overcome an obstacle, and that is definitely a theme between all these kind of songs.
Leonidas is definitely my energy when I would be downrange, like even my logo backwards hat, the Peltor is just like
this whole album is just real high energy like that. And I just figured that's the kind of stuff that this guy, while he's tromping through the terrain with his pup, he's just jamming out and listening to
the funny thing is last night I just texted over the playlist to Steve, and he said that the ST song, this is exactly what he would pick because he's more of an ST guy than I am. He's like, that's exactly the song that I would pick for Leonidas. How did Jim figure that out?
Great minds think
Prior
alike.
to that, I knew about the sorry, I'm not going to say which band. I kind of already did. The Shadow Dragon one. I knew he'd like that one, but then also the one that you chose for Preacher. He was like, seriously, that's exactly the song I would pick as well.
That's cool.
So you nailed those on the head, and then of course the Rooster one was obvious. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's basically his anthem.
Yeah.
Well, as we get closer to Joe Fest, if Steve has some time, maybe we'll get him on here and we'll do another playlist. Why not?
Yeah, this is more his genre than me. So, he's out and about right now. Otherwise, would have sent him the link because I'm sitting there. I'm like, there's a bunch of orders we need to get fulfilled. I know when I get home, I'm like, you want me to do them? He's like, no, I want to review them first. I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, again,
You know.
thanks for your time, Ken. I know you got a boogie.
Yeah.
Get those orders out. We're stoked for what you guys are doing. We're enjoying it, and we're just going to continue celebrating. So go
All right.
have some fun.
Yeah,
Do what
congrats
you got to
again,
do.
man. Way to go.
Yeah.
Buy some
guys.
figures. Oops, dropping guns. Not that I know, not that I know the names of them anyway. Black colored shooter thingy that
Buy
mows down-
multiples because the carpet
An
monster
M4.
can eat those guns in packs. So you need
Somebody
a
bought
spare.
12 Thunder Battalions yesterday. I was like,
Those are so
huh?
cool.
That's nice.
That's rad.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, boys. Thanks. Have a
Ken,
good one. And
take
Later,
care,
Thank
Ken.
you, Ken.
love
We'll
y'all.
see you.
Bye.
Take care.
See you. Bye bye. And then there were 3.
And
That's
then,
cool. And then
and then.
So, what are you thinking, Chad? Are you picking up the vibe we're going with here? Is this kind of fitting with your mindset when you're doing your Joe room and you're hanging out and you're just vibing with your stuff?
Uh-huh.
What's your soundtrack? I mean, is it something from your own band or is it something just?
I don't listen to my own music. No.
No.
No, because like you have to listen to it. So we're recording a new album right now, and we get like a Dropbox alert of like, oh, well, there's the 17th mix of this song. Go listen to it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to listen to it again. And so like I hear my stuff enough that I
Right.
don't. It's just weird.
But
I guess it was kinda-
does your significant other, does the ma'am jam to what you're rocking out?
She has it on her playlists, but if we're in her car, she'll skip it because one,
Right,
I'm in
'cause
the
you're in the
car,
car.
and two, she always tells me, I don't ever know what Jake's singing, so I just skip your music. And I'm like, that's fine. Whatever.
Oh, good.
My playlist would pretty much be the stuff that we discussed when I was on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just that.
Definitely some rockabilly vibe and some other
Mhm.
goodies.
Yeah.
Cool. Digging that. I know you don't like to plug yourself, but 12-Step Rebels is out and about and available on the YouTubes and other places.
Yeah,
do
I
check that
know
out.
I don't like to date videos or shows, but this Wednesday we will be playing the Punk Rock Museum in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Sweet.
Aw, dude, that's badass.
Yeah, it's like
Please
a
take some pictures.
pre-Viva Las Vegas weekender kind of big old to do. So
That's gonna be
Nice.
fun. All right,
it'll be
man.
fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you want, we'll put a link
Sure.
for some
Yeah.
of your tunage because I'm digging it. I think other people will as well.
Totally fine. Yeah, we just released a kind of a fun, sort of lighthearted, like a Valentine's single, right? It's like a
Single.
2-song EP, but when we actually like printed physical copies for sale, they're not like CD singles, they're old school cassettes, side A,
Nice.
Oh,
side B,
yeah, badass. I
and
like
just
it.
a sleeve. Yeah, so whatever.
Very cool. Speaking of cool, Preacher's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of
He-
laid back a little bit.
he's
Not as laid
actually-
back as Leonidas, but
He's
I'm
one
a
of those
big
sleeper
fan of that
characters, and
phrase.
I think he's really
Oh, he's rad. I'm also a huge fan of the don't mistake kindness for weakness.
yes,
Big fan of that. Yeah.
he's definitely the mellow walk and talk softly, but he carries a big stick kind of guy.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to
Interesting-
find that with a lot of like the whole quiet professionals. They're not most quiet professionals that I've ever dealt with that aren't boisterous, aren't braggadocious. We're not what I like to call the spotlight rangers,
Mhm.
always, oh, me, and the one-uppers and stuff, just quiet and chill unless it's time to put in work,
And again, that's something I think with Delta-17 and with Action Force in their story, they get that right. You don't become a team. You don't gel as a unit if you have guys who want to stand out and have the spotlight on them. It doesn't work.
Nope.
All of these guys integrate well. They look for what strengths each one has, and
Yeah.
they just make it fit. And that's
soldiering has no place for self-service.
right. No prima donnas. Not
One of the
not in
great
fog
things
goal.
I love about this figure too, not only the sculpting, the details, even all the way up to that cross on his neck.
Yeah.
Preacher is one of 2 figures in the Delta-17 roster that is 4 inches. He's a 4-inch
Mhm.
O-ring figure instead of the 3 3/4, so he stands just a little bit taller than the rest. He's a tall drink of water.
Oh yeah, yeah, he is a big old can of whoop ass.
Yeah, and again, backstory is on the website, and I'll also link to those videos that we showed. So with a little more detail, if you guys want to check those out, they'll be in the description below. I like this guy. I like the little bit of backstory we get to him. He's got, he's tough on the outside, and he's got that tender spot for people in need, and that's kind of where his nickname comes from. We decided to go old school with him. Little CCR, little Bad Moon Rising. It's a classic.
Yeah.
That's insane.
This is a man who's seen some trouble, and he doesn't let it knock him down. So I'm a big John Fogerty fan, so I'll always find a way to work that in somewhere. But
yeah, I was always a big fan of the Fogerty brothers.
It's a shame that there was so much infighting in the group, and it led to their early demise as a CCR. John eventually got the rights to all his songs, and he's gone on to have a great solo career. Aside from all that, because I came to it late in the game. This is stuff my dad was listening to. I'd steal his records as a kid, and then I got into it. Just classics. I can't think of a CCR song I don't like. They're all good, and been covered by many guys. Do you guys ever do covers of stuff like this, or are you strictly originals?
No, we've done some covers here and there. Nothing major. If we do, it's just kind of for live purposes. Yeah. I always wanted to cover. It's completely off topic, but one song that I always wanted to cover, and I brought it up for probably the past decade, is "Psycho Killer" by Talking Heads.
Yeah.
I thought it would be really good with like a creepy, intonated, like upright bass, because it just has that like slow driving kind of tempo. But
yeah,
he's like, well, we don't really do covers, and I'm like, bullshit. And then all these covers we've done, and I'm like, come on.
So when you guys put together a set list, is it by consensus, or do you just kind of throw stuff at the wall and see what you're doing this season, or all the above?
Yeah, it just kind of happens.
Cool.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the drummer keeps everything rolling as it should. So I don't care who the lead is. Yeah. Respect the drummer.
I generally don't. I don't come up with ideas, but I have input. My input's usually like, that should be a jump note, or this should be chunking, or this should be some kind of like a, there needs to be an accent there, like some kind of a flourish there, or it needs to break this up, because our singer guitar player, he likes to just write a million parts. So it's generally not like, verse, chorus, bridge. He's like, oh, well, this is the intro, and this is the first verse, and this is the pre-chorus, and this is the chorus, and this is the bridge, this is the second bridge. And I'm like, bro, just just stop. Like, I can't remember all that,
How long do your sets usually go? Like, do you go like a full half hour, just full court press slamming it, or do you guys take little breaks? Or
it kind of depends. So it depends on if it's our show, if we're like direct support for somebody bigger than us, the crowd, right? Because know your audience is a big thing. So like when we're playing the Punk Rock Museum on Wednesday, like this morning, we were practicing a whole bunch of stuff, and we were like, well, it's Vegas, it's the Rockabilly Weekender, so we'll put a couple of these types of songs in there, because it's psychobilly, like, so we have like blast beat stuff, we have punk stuff, we have like really bluesy rockabilly rooted stuff,
high energy.
But we generally do arrangements, so we're like, okay, well, this is going to be the intro song and it ends on A, so then we're going to start this song immediately, and we generally do like 3 to 4 songs in a row, and then take like, that 2 minutes to like say hi to the crowd and blah blah blah, and then generally do like 3 or 4 more. We do songs in chunks, so like we do massive blocks of songs.
Now, do you try to throw in something region specific? If you're like in the middle of Cleveland, you try to throw in a little Cleveland love or whatever? Or no?
Well, yeah, I mean, as far as like shouting out and like crowd engagement stuff, yeah, absolutely. But But we're not going to play like Cleveland Rocks or anything. That's not
You knew where I was going, but I'm not going
Yeah.
there.
No, we're not doing that.
Back to CCR. This is something I didn't know until I did a little research for the playlist. When Fogerty was writing this, he had recently watched the Devil and Daniel Webster, and that inspired the lyrics. I just did a piece on Faustian bargains, and
Yeah.
that was one of the films that it was talked about with that, and it was like, man, that's a little trippy how things come together.
Sure.
So, Bad Moon Rising is definitely about bad things coming. You see it on the horizon, and again, bringing it back to Preacher, he's a guy who can see trouble coming. He's a planner. He's a sniper. He's looking long distance. He's scoping things out from a distance. And I think that colors how his character will develop as we see things go forward.
Yeah.
So
it's fitting.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Moving right along. One of my favorite characters, just because of my next door nemesis, Eduardo, who is a rooster. I'm loving this character.
Yeah.
I would like to see a non-camo version in the future, just because I want to see what the guy looks like when he's not all war painted up. But it's a good vibe. It's a great character. Do you have that one handy?
Look. Yeah, I got him right here.
Let me.
You just couldn't see him because he's camo.
That's right. It's like John Cena. Let me find the button here. I'll blow you up here for a second. There it is.
There he is.
Oh yeah.
And I don't have all his gear with him, but he does have his field phone there. His
right.
Sat phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got kind of an interesting dual combo backpack where you can have the full, frame, or you can have just the radio.
Yeah.
It's a neat idea. I love the fact that unlike some other military toys, he actually has a legitimate camo pattern that I think is pretty accurate compared to some, Tiger Force. I mean, some other stuff out there that's kind of wackadoo.
I love
their bright neon colors to go into battle. No,
I love the fact that he gives off not only World War II paratrooper vibes, but he also gives off that like old school real American hero hit and run vibe.
Yes.
He's a freaking awesome.
Yeah.
He's an awesome character design.
Oh, he's a great character. And, as far as the song goes, I feel like it's one of those things where it just gets brought up to him all the time. And he just has to embrace it. It's not even that, so much that it's, something that he chose. He's got that, that distinct haircut. That's what got him his nickname. But it's one of those things
and
that
he
just can't get away from.
Right. He is an indigenous Native American, and he respects his heritage. The song fits better than I would have thought, not just in name, but when you look into why the song was written. Jerry Cantrell penned the song for his dad, who was a Vietnam vet. It's very much like my own father. My dad served with the Marines. He was a Navy corpsman. He was in the field with these guys, taking the same flak as everybody else. He doesn't talk about it. He won't talk about it. And Jerry was saying the same thing. It's like, I tried talking with my dad. It's like, he didn't talk about his experiences, because you can't go through that kind of a conflict and not have some serious, deep emotional issues you can only talk to another combat vet about those things. So I respect that. But from those conversations he had with his dad, it inspired him to do some research into what was going on. And that led to this song. And when you listen to it, it's powerful. And, being a non-combat vet, I'm thankful that I haven't had to experience those type of things. So I have deep respect for guys who put their life on the line and have to take those things. And, that when when you're packing your ditty bag, that's the stuff that people don't talk about. It's like, you take that home with you as well. And it's not something the VA has always done the greatest job of helping people to deal with. But I would say, at least in the last decade or so, at least they're aware that this is an issue that has not been addressed as it should have been.
Yeah.
You're more recent in your career time. Do you think those types of conversations are being had more now among vets?
Yeah, the stigma about combat stress and just the decades of fighting that like the GWAT guys like me and
Ugh.
Jeremy, where it's
Yeah.
just
One conflict after another. It doesn't
yeah,
end.
and for the most
Yeah.
part, it's literally just deploy, recock, go home, go back through validation, deploy, recock, go home, and it's over and over and over and over and over. But yeah, that stigma's gone.
Good.
They're very big on people getting help. I had a PFC in my fire team when I was still a team leader. When we were deployed in 2012, and this kid, he was a great soldier. He was a good rifleman, and he always wanted to get in firefights, like all the time. He's like, oh yeah, let's go, let's go get a tick, which is troops in contact, or let's go just get some. And one day I walked into our little CQ room and he was just sitting there all quiet, and he wasn't his normal self. And there's this whole thing, leaders in the military, like, there's soldier care and then there's the accomplishment of the mission. And the long-standing thing is, well, which one's more important? And I'm like, well, without soldier care, you can't accomplish your mission. They're kind of a symbiotic relationship. So, I just sat down to talk to him, and the kid got jodied. His woman found a new friend while he was away, and his home life was in shambles. And this kid went from the most hard charging infantryman that I'd want to be in a fight with to this crying little kid where I had to take the keys from him and his weapon and call the chaplain. But
And that's something I think civilians may not understand this, but care for troops starts with the NCOs.
yeah,
They're the ones who have their fingers on the pulse of what's going on in the team, and especially the stuff from back home. You got to know what's going on with your guys. And
I knew everything about my Joes, and it didn't matter if I was a team leader, squad leader, section leader, platoon sergeant, like any of the roles that I've held. Like, I always knew everything about my Joes. It's my job.
Yeah.
And I took my job very seriously for every year that I did it. And I mean, sometimes you got to make hard calls, but I think part of that is, you have to build these bonds with these soldiers just beyond like, well, I have general military authority over you and blah, blah, blah. Like,
Yeah.
because the moment's going to come where I have to not necessarily ask, but I have to, command
right.
kids to go do horrible things.
And we we do make our jokes about butter bars and other fresh out of academy types that come in. It's like, do not come in hanging out and pretending you're a frat boy anymore. You're in a position, if you don't listen to your NCOs, you're headed for trouble, because they're going to tell you where your troops are, what they need. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a jabroni.
The very last thing that I did in uniform, as I was clearing Fort Bliss, the very last thing I did was I chewed this second lieutenant's ass. I'm sorry, first lieutenant, as you were. I chewed this first lieutenant's ass so bad because she gave me the crappiest salute I've probably ever seen. I just walked by, I said, Lieutenant, and then I got like, almost like she was like swatting a fly out of her face.
What?
And I had already hit like, F this 30.
Yeah.
And
no more F's to give.
It's like my last day in the Army.
Yeah.
And in the grand scheme, my rank as a senior NCO far outranks her as a first lieutenant.
Yeah.
And I turned around and that's the worst salute I've ever seen. Like, what the, and I just like went off, and it was just like this.
Yeah, she probably was not expecting that.
I just turned around and walked off.
Yeah, don't piss off your NCOs. That's career suicide.
Never.
Don't do it.
Not the medics, not the cooks.
No, not the medics, especially.
Not your NCOs.
But Yeah, long way around the barn. I see a lot with Rooster, the character from Delta-17. He's very quiet, very reserved.
Yeah.
He's seen a lot of action. He's not a braggart. He's not a, hard charger front of the, he's level. And I think that comes from the experience. And I'm hoping, again, we'll see more of that in the comics. I'm loving where this team is going as far as how it's coming together. Different personalities, different specialties, but they gel. And they're going to be thrown in the thick of it in some areas where they just got to pick up whatever they got handy and make it work.
Yeah.
And you know how that goes.
Yeah. He doesn't feel like an overkill kind of character where he like uses 20 rounds to address a 2-round problem,
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about some of these modern lines. You don't have these over the top, crazy, made up by some guy that's never served or someone who actually has some practical knowledge of how the military sort of works.
Because again, like Steve said, or like Ken said, Steve's a gun guy. Like,
yeah,
Steve knows his rifles, his weapons, and things like that, and you can see that.
Yeah, and I believe he is he's prior service in Canada as well, so he has an understanding of how to put a team together.
Unlike some line that they don't know anything about weaponry.
I'm not going there, frickin' tuning fork. Anyway,
I will.
Nothing but love, but we will point out when something looks dumb. Anyway, Fortnite looking stuff. Anyway, Kestrel, another one of my favorites.
Pump action shotgun.
Oh, he went there.
I did. Yay! Kestrel, hey,
she's cool.
That's
I'm an old fart. I'm not big on ladies being frontline troops because that wasn't the era I served. But I understand things have changed in some ways.
Yep.
But it's got to make sense. She makes sense. She came from Polish Special Forces. She's no joke. She has skills as a translator and a pilot. She's multiversatile, and she gets in where she fits in. And,
she's a very multi-role character, especially being a Terp, right? So interpreters they're vastly important for what we call human, which is human intelligence gathering. And I mean, she fits that role perfectly.
Yeah, I think it's well balanced.
Yeah.
Pop her up there again, Will. Let me blow you up.
Oh yeah, she's probably one of the characters that, when I first saw her, she didn't pop out to me. There was other characters like Rooster who I was immediately drawn to, and after getting her in hand and really just checking her out, I gotta say,
don't make it weird, Will. Don't make it weird.
It's already weird. Just go with it.
She gazed into my eyes. No, I really appreciate the detail on this character.
She has nice lips.
Really
and a badonkadonk. She got the nice badonkadonk.
Yeah. No,
but seriously, it's a well-rounded character.
Backpack. Yeah, she comes in some great. I don't know if that's her gun or not. It might be.
It should be like a 5.56 commando with a M203 grenade launcher.
Is that hers?
Nope. That's
no.
Oh, this is hers. That's Shepard's, I think.
Yeah, that's Shepard's.
I think that's hers, right? Yeah, I think I got the right one now.
Nope.
I could have got them all mixed up. They were
that's the scar for Preacher.
Preacher, you're right.
That's it. Yeah.
But with Kestrel, for me, I unlike Will, I was drawn to her immediately as a character, as a figure. Like I said, her and Leonidas, for some reason, those are my jam. I like the character. I think those two are going to team up. That's I don't know anything official.
Snake Eyes and Scarlet action.
I'm saying there's some chemistry there. I don't know, but for her, we decided to. Well, of course.
That's a great song too.
Little Pat Benatar, talking about strong women in rock. Hit me with your best shot. I thought the lyrics were appropriate for her. She's definitely had some knocks, but she gets right back up on her feet again. From her backstory from the website, we know that she has also been an infiltrator. She has been a double agent in Retrograd and has worked in some very difficult situations. Those will also come to light as the story unfolds. but I'm digging it, man. I thought this was very appropriate for her vibe. What do you guys think?
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's a great fit.
Are
And
you a
Fat
big
Benetar.
fan? Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, I was gonna say, are you a big fan of some ladies in rock from back in the day when rock was still cool?
Yeah, I mean, I get down with the Joan Jett and the Lita Ford and their band before that, and
Right.
and Pat Benatar, like, she was all about that big, female self-confidence, kind of mantra thing in the 80s, and she was everywhere. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
And
Pat Benatar's just rad. Her and her guitar player's her husband, right?
I think so. At least
Yeah.
was. I don't know if they're still together.
Yeah,
but,
well, I mean,
she's still she's like in her 60s. She still rocks and does live concerts. So
Oh
sweet.
yeah.
I'm
definitely great.
I'm all about that. Like, when Lita Ford came out with that "Kiss Me Deadly," I was all about that. Like,
Oh yeah.
Lita Ford was just good. But yeah, Pat Benatar's great.
And it's like when we had Allison Troy on, we were talking about, making fun of the Swifties and some of those. It's like, yeah, okay, great. There's all these women who are very empowered in the music scene now, but they don't hold a candle to what came in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about breaking some glass ceilings. These gals had record labels and everybody else they had to really prove themselves to get out there and be seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm a big fan.
Yeah, all the way from like your Tina Turners to your Cyndi Laupers, and
Yeah.
I mean they all had their thing going on.
That is true. Getting on to our first army builder of the group, the Delta Squad, the infantry. But these aren't just your normal peanut butter jelly infantry guys. These are all taken from Tier 1 and Tier 2 special operations units from all branches of military. So you have this elite squad of Delta-17 in and of itself, the core members, and then even their support personnel are elites. Yeah, sorry, Will. Let me.
Oh
where's
yeah,
that button?
no, that's all right.
Let me
Just
blow
have
you
them
up
out.
there. I'm digging that. Now he comes with a gas mask as well, so you can have a full face
And that
enclosure.
stores in the backpack.
Oh, nice.
So when you pull the backpack off, there it is inside. I don't know if you can see it.
That's a cool design. That way you don't have to worry about it wandering off.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So yeah.
And he comes with what? Is that a law or?
Oh, you got me. It's a big gun.
It's not a law.
And then I like that the rockets that peg onto the backpack, you
Yeah.
load one into the
I got you.
chamber.
Is
pull it
that
out
a
there.
similar? I don't remember. Was it the old school Steel Brigade that came with something like that?
No.
The 4-inch guys. Remember they had their what's the ones I'm thinking of?
You talking the modern Steel Brigades?
Yeah, the modern Steel Brigades, the old Hasbro ones, not the newer Valivers.
No,
but
he comes with that.
yeah, I thought this was something similar. Is that?
No, it just breaks apart. So it comes apart
okay.
into two separate pieces right there. Yeah, that's all that does.
All right.
Now that would be kind of what Bazooka comes with.
Okay. So how would that be practical in a squad unit, Chad? I'm to be honest, I never tinkered with much of that one in my time.
Anti-armor?
Yeah.
It's just good for taking out like lightly armored vehicles. You're not going to take out anything too major, but armored personnel carriers are like a BMP or a BTR. Like you could tune that up real quick. Yeah. It's
Now,
almost like a Carl Gustav, like the recoilless.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the Gustav. I think I picked up a model to use for my Valivers.
Yeah.
The
Goose is pretty cool.
And practical and versatile with the different types of armament. But
and the law on the AT4. So it's an 84 millimeter heat rocket, which is a high explosive anti-tank. It's just a heat round.
is it like wire guided or is that old school?
No,
No?
they're not wire guided. They're not wire guided at all. Now the toes or
Yeah.
the toe 2 Bravo, yeah, like those are wire guided.
Okay.
And then
So
you
in
have
a
the javelins, which are laser sighted.
right
Like you
in
can
a
store everything. Oh yeah.
Yep.
the-
Real nice.
other than being murder on your back, that's a lot to carry.
Yeah.
In a squad formation, I mean, as far as breaking down into fire teams, who would carry what? You'd have like one guy with your heavy. You'd maybe have somebody with anti armor. You'd have like one guy in a squad, or in like a 5 to 6 man fire team, or
Right. So a
That-
standard light infantry squad, right, is so you have 2 fire teams. So you have alpha team and a bravo team, and generally your alpha team is your assaulting team and your bravo team is your support by fire. But in each team, you have a lot of multi-role people. So you've always got like a pace and compass person, to get you where you need to go, and someone's always got a radio on them, and then you've got someone that's usually got, the saw, which is the 5.56 belt fed. You generally are going to have at least one M240. So you have your gunner, and then their A gunner, who's also a rifleman, and then also
who's also carrying
interspersed in
extra
there-
ammo too.
Yeah.
You've got to have
Yeah,
Yeah.
they generally carry the spare barrel and the extra ammo for the 240 in their ruck, and they're like a rifleman, but they're the A gunner at the same time. And one of your riflemen will generally be designated as a grenadier, so they'll have the M203 or the M320, which is the Picatinny underslung 40 millimeter grenade launcher. And I know everybody thinks, oh yeah, well you got a 40 millimeter, so you're always firing like what's called a HETP, which is a high explosive dual penetrator round. Most of the time, the 40 millimeter guys are shooting smoke, right?
okay, yeah,
We're lobbing smoke
Yeah.
because smoke's good for concealment, for maneuverability, and also for signaling. So they're not
So-
always firing like explosive rounds out of those.
Well, these guys also go up against Robot Ninja every once in a while, so you gotta have something to take them
Yep.
out. 'Cause-
That's true.
that's true. I hadn't thought of that. So putting together your team, if somebody's putting together their army building, you want what? You want like at least 4 for a fire team plus an NCO. You want 12 for a good sized squad. Is that
Yeah.
fair?
Well, it would be an odd number because the
Yeah.
squad leaders a stand apart. So it depends on if you're a 4-man team, then you would have 9 for a squad.
Right.
Now,
who leads the Bravo team? Is that like a corporal or?
No, it doesn't necessarily matter.
Okay.
You would kind of want your more senior junior NCO to be your alpha team leader. So you
Oh.
would probably have like a 3-year sergeant, probably like a 2-year sergeant as your alpha team leader, and then like a 1-year sergeant as like your Bravo team leader, and then you're going to have like your staff sergeant, your E6 as your squad leader, right?
Okay.
Something like that. But it also depends, right? So there's what we call Met TC, right? So it's a mission. Like depending on your
Yeah.
mission, your operating environment, your squads and your team sizes can flex. So you can have a 6-man fire team. So then you have a 13-man squad, because like I've done missions like that where we were QRF, so our squads are bigger, they're more
Right.
people, because when we're QRF we're mounted, and when we're mounted, right, you need more people for more trucks,
Right.
kind of that thing.
Now, when you're in a close quarter situation where you need people who are breachers, things of that nature, how does that change the dynamics of building the team? I know we're in the weeds, but I'm just
It
curious.
necessarily doesn't. Usually on your MTO,
Mhm.
your
You've got a
MTO
kit.
is basically what says like, this is your paragraph and line number, this is your position title, and then this is all your equipment. And so you're gonna see guys who are like M2 caliber 50 gunners in a truck, but then they're also issued like an M4, a freaking shotgun, a sidearm, and all this other stuff. Because then if you got to go like blow the hinges off a door, PS, you want that shotgun
Right.
upside down when you do it, right? If you're gonna blow the hinges off a door, they gotta have their shotgun. So it's
Oh
just
man,
stuff like
there's some cringy training videos on YouTube of watching guys learning how to breach. That yeah,
where they're
So
hitting
don't do
themselves.
what they do. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But anyway, I see some parallels with Delta Squad and what we saw with Valiver Steel Brigade. These are elite guys. They're put together in fire teams or squads. So feel free to buy multiples because you're
Yeah,
gonna
they're
need 'em.
definitely like the quick
Yeah.
reaction of Delta-17
Yeah.
for sure.
Your what do you call that? Rapid response, or I'm not sure what the common
It
terminology
just
is.
depends, right? Again, it depends on where you're at geographically. My last deployment in 2020, we had a QRF, which is our quick reaction force, and it's like the fire department. When QRF is busy, everyone's having a bad day. But
Yeah.
for QRF, we could do anything from like, providing convoy security for like UN inspectors or, whatever stupid stuff. Or if senators come and they want to glad hand people, like we have to provide their convoy security. And if someone was in contact, like we would basically fight our way in, pick them up, and then just like break everything on the way out. But we had QRF, but then we were just anything within a 50-mile radius. That was the embassies. That was the main camp that we were on. That was like the super secret airfield where all the MQ-9 Reapers operated out of, which are the RPAs, right? People call them drones, but they're remotely piloted aircraft. And then there was this thing called IRF. Now, IRF was the East Africa Response Force, and that was a larger force. It included some of us from the QRF, some of the guys from the 101st, some of the Rakkasan guys, like the Kurahi dudes.
Right. I was going to say you're integrating with guys from other
Easy Company,
forces as well. Yeah.
And it was legit Easy Company, like Kurahi. And then we also had some Marine Corps Raiders.
Really?
And that whole mission was if stuff went nuts, you jumped in a C-130 and you could be anywhere. There's an airfield in Kenya that got overran by extremists. We'll just call it that. And IRF had to, we all had to get on the plane and bounce from one place to Somalia down to Kenya and go in there and throwing grenades in huts. And I don't even know why I'm saying this, but yeah, it was
anyway. Yeah, bringing it back to the dollies.
Yeah.
We can definitely see where Delta Squad would fit in these type of situations.
Yep.
And for a song choice, got to have a hard charger, man.
That's a great song.
It is such it is overused now for a lot of military entertainment. People associate this and some classic songs from, whether it's Fortunate Son from CCR or others. It's just become, if you're doing a military TV show or film, this is probably going to be in there somewhere.
Sure.
Great song.
For a reason. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it works. Yeah.
It does. Shoot Thrill. A lot of people know it from Iron Man 2. Of course, it's a classic. Enough said. It's a jam. Doggo.
There she is.
How's she doing with her training? She getting pretty mellow now, or is she still rambunctious?
Well, she's only 5 months old, but she just had she was just spayed 3 days ago. So
Okay.
she's doing okay. We're taking it easy right now. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
she's
just
doing
like
really
Bob
good.
Barker used to say, always spay and neuter your pets.
Stay and neuter your pets. Yeah.
It's good for them.
She's doing really good.
It helps them mellow.
Yeah.
She's a cutie.
Thank you. Yeah, she's very beautiful.
Now you have like the harness training with her and all that kind of stuff going on too, or is she already at that? She's already been through all those steps.
No, I mean we're still working on everything. Basic command, she's totally got down. So like,
Sweet.
sit, off, lie down, come, all that stuff. Like, I've been working on that like immediate recall with her and things like, when I tell her to stay and then leave the room. Like, what does she do when I say stay and I go away? So,
Right.
Yeah.
Especially when she's got that puppy brain going and she's like, yep, squirrel. Yeah.
But even for a puppy, like, because she is in service dog training, I take her everywhere.
Good.
So
yeah, well, it helps her
really
to
good.
Yeah, she doesn't have to deal with she's not like one of my dogs cannot stand loud noises, firecrackers, car backfiring, freaks her out. She's mellow.
The only thing that she gets really interested about is when I sweep, and she wants to like fight the broom.
Yeah.
But no, out in public, she's perfectly fine.
Excellent.
If I'm in the store and we're not walking, she sits right next to me. If I'm in a spot for too long, she lies down. So yeah, she's good.
Cool. Are most stores accommodating these days? They understand the need for service dogs?
Yep.
I know that used to be kind of a
I've only been
bugaboo.
asked once. The ma'am and I were going into Costco, and we were kind of walking in, and the woman goes, "Service dog," and I was like, "Yep." She goes, "Okay." And that's
Cool.
it. So
Do you carry like an ID card for her, or she just has it on her vest?
I
says
no, I
service
do
dog?
have I have a physical, and then I have a digital, and then I don't want to say I cheated, but I used the workaround, right?
This
So
coming from the guy that's jumped the line last year at Joe Fest.
I didn't jump the line.
I'm just saying. I'm just teasing. We know.
He was taking photographs.
I
of,
was
things.
filming video and
filming
making
video, sure.
purchases.
He's making content.
Content,
That's right.
purchases.
That's right. Yeah.
So I went and got her certified as an emotional support animal,
Mhm.
which
And there's a process you got to go through for that.
yeah, there is. But ESAs, you can take them everywhere except for on airplanes.
Really?
And I don't fly. So what the hell do I care? So she can't get service dog like PSD certified until she's 2 years old. But ESA,
Because of the amount
she's
of
already
training?
certified.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just the amount of training. So that's one, but it's also like the maturity of the animal.
Okay.
Right. So
That's
yeah,
fair.
most places are like, we won't even test them till they're 2.
Mhm.
So she is ESA certified, so I can take her into restaurants and all that stuff. I just use it as a workaround because it's part of her training. But the vest
Right.
she wears says service dog in training.
Right.
Yeah.
And she is. So it's
That's
legit.
what she is. Yeah. Now we did run into a couple that had a dog with like a service dog vest is like that Coast Guardy, like
Right.
orange,
It's a
reddish
harness
with
type.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we ran into a couple and they had a dog and it just had like a black vest on with like a service dog, like a Velcro patch. And that dog
Right.
tried to attack my dog.
Oh, no.
And I was
So
like,
it's like,
I'm on to
something
you.
shady
I'm
there.
on to you. And as I was staring at her, like she knew that I knew that she was full of it.
I was going to say, there's some out there. I've got, basic harnesses for my dogs, but there's some like full tactical vests that you can put,
Oh, yeah.
cargo carriers and all kinds of stuff on.
Yeah.
It's trippy. So
Yeah.
if you want to gear out your dog, like you gear out your goodies, I mean, you can go there. So anyway,
Callie's not
Or-
going to get that.
I know we're totally off topic, but one last thing about service dogs. Petting. What is the etiquette? Is it cool to you ask first before you pet a service dog if somebody's out? and
Yeah,
about?
it's generally like most people that I've interacted, they're like, well, can I say hi? And I'm like, you can try. Because generally she backs up from people. Not that she
Okay.
doesn't have the social skills, but she knows that like that's not her person. Like
Gotcha.
I'm her person. So
Yeah.
yeah, she's actually really good when people try to get near her that she'll just back away from them.
Very
So,
cool.
yeah.
It's good training. I wish
Now,
I
if I
could.
want somebody to pet her, I just give them a little cat treat and then good to go. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Generally people with like kids. If I see people with like small kids, like 6, whatever,
Right.
in the grocery store and they're like, "Oh, look, puppy, blah blah blah. Can I say hi?" And then I always have like training treats, right? Because I'm training her. So I'll pull out a treat and I'll say, "Put your hand out flat," and I'll put the treat and then she'll come get it from them.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Do you just do the treats, or do you also use like sound clicker kind of stuff? Or
I snap.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have one of those little no. I just snap at her and
That
she
works.
just kind of gets out of
No,
you know,
they do work, and all during Joe Fest, Chad would have the treat, and I would just come up and he'd grab one, and I'd run off.
and Will would have potato chips and be like, "Oh, are those your chips?"
yeah. I'd scurry away, get him something. I'd hear, "Oh, Cat needs me." Yeah,
That's right.
How much
That
of
is-
this are you going to edit out?
Tons.
Yeah.
And that is one downside to you being at DFW. Will's going to be at Joe Fest. No photo bombs.
I wanted to go to both. I did,
know.
and the dates.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to beat the dead horse talking about
Right.
that, but
it's
it
an
is what it
unfortunate
is.
situation. Yeah.
I did want to do both, especially now that I'm retired. Like I was looking forward to freaking PowerCon, and then people were like, "Oh, there's no PowerCon this year," and I'm like, "Damn it!" Right? Because I couldn't go to PowerCon
I think
last
that's
year.
going to be the big show next year is PowerCon. We're all
It
gonna
probably
meet up
will
and-
be.
and rock
Yeah,
that place. Yeah.
I couldn't go
Take it-
last year because I was going through like my retirement process, and they're like, "You can't take leave until you go terminal because then your
Right.
leave will be wrong."
Yeah.
So
Right.
I couldn't go, and I was like,
Now-
"No, I'll just go in 24," and then I got.
Yeah, that was. I think that was a boneheaded move for PowerCon not to do anything and just take the year off. It's like, really, you got all this momentum built from last year. You're just gonna leave people hanging? I mean, I know they have their reasons, but
Well, they ran into the same challenge that Joe Fest ran into. Sorry, I had to
with
get my cat
with
trees.
venue or
Well, they
I
were
think it was the
offered.
venue.
Do you want these freaking? Sorry. Val Staples and PowerCon were offered dates that conflicted with DragonCon,
okay,
and so they
Gotcha.
were like, "Nope." Right?
yeah,
Just like Joe Fest got offered a list of
Right.
dates, and one was like 4th of July weekend, one was like the Pride or whatever, and the other one was DFW, and it was like, well,
yeah,
There it
yeah. I would not have made that choice had I been in those shoes, but I wasn't. So I DFW is going to be awesome. Joe Fest will be a little less so, but there will be hardcore people at both. And,
well,
it's all good.
Joe Fest has Bob Breakin coming with the skeleton
true.
people, so that's actually really freaking cool.
Yeah, it is.
And Sarge.
Oh yeah,
But,
Yeah.
pretty much everybody else will be at DFW, but
and you're talking
Just saying.
like getting the band back together, like all the Hasbro Real American Hero guys who haven't been together since one of the last JoeCons. You're talking like
Ron
2017.
Rudat will be there, right?
Yeah,
So
Ron
all-
Rudat, Larry Hama, Kirk Bazigian, Daryl DePriest, and everybody, all of them.
That's
Well-
going to be awesome. Anyway, we're totally off track, but
Edit that shit out, Jim.
I hate editing, man. It
I
takes
love it.
time.
I
and
love
effort.
editing. I'm a big editing guy.
Moving right along.
Yeah.
The other femme fatale. Now, before we delve into the baddies, I'll run another bit of beautiful bean footage here. For those who are not real familiar with the adversaries of the Delta-17 line, I have another little quick video. So we'll be back in 2 and 2, as somebody used to say.
Yeah.
I love Delta-17, but I give it up for the villains, man. I love the bad guys.
Yeah.
There's some classics here. Great stuff. Great story building is coming from what we're seeing here. And I like the fact that there is a history between our two gals in this toy line.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
they're very different characters, but they do have a history because of Kestrel being a double agent and having infiltrated Retrograd in the past. There's some bad blood, as they say. Death Sparrow. What a hottie. She'd probably
Really,
curb stomp me in a second, but man, I love this character.
look at that
What you
figure.
got?
She came out great.
She did.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful sculpt,
And it's not over the top. It's a minimalist type uniform. It makes sense for the character, but she's no nonsense. She's definitely in charge of Retrograd.
come on. All right.
I know. So yeah, again, there'll be links down below if you want to get into more of the lore, talking about these guys. There's a video there that goes into more detail about each of the characters. Death Sparrow is the commander of Retrograd, and right now we only have the two figures of Retrograd, which is the leader, Death Sparrow, and then Thunder Battalion, which we'll get into in a minute. Very no nonsense, old school, from the fatherland, motherland, however you want to say it. She's Russian. She's old school Russian, and there you go. I thought it would be appropriate to pick a traditional tune that people know for her. Koro Bienki, I think is how you say that in Russian. People mostly know it as the Tetris theme. It is. That's it. It just fits. She's a strategist. She probably loved playing Tetris. She probably loves this song from the old folk ballad. And I just thought it was a good one. And the video we picked for this is a rock cover of it. Some really sweet guitar. So I think you guys will enjoy that when you listen to the playlist.
It's quite good.
The old folk song itself talks about, a peddler's interaction with a girl, symbolizing negotiation over goods as a metaphor for courtship. She is a mercenary. She's very much about, looking for the gold. And it's my pick. Take it or leave it. So, what kind of vibes are you guys getting from Death Sparrow from what Lily know of the lore at this point?
Listen, she's a babe. She's a goddess. I mean, these men don't just follow her; they worship the ground she walks on. And
Could be.
She's cold, calculating, evil. I mean,
Is she
mean.
evil or is she just
I don't know.
opportunistic? I don't know.
Perhaps, yeah. She's
We also
definitely-
sort of agreed that she gives off vibes of that blonde female from Police Academy.
That's
I'm
right.
seeing it.
I see.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. She's a bombshell. Yeah, she's just.
She's no nonsense, but yeah, get some vodka in her. We'll see what happens. Could be
I
interesting.
appreciate the fact that she has a drum magazine on her AK-74.
Nice.
Yeah.
I really do. Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch.
Leslie
Indeed.
Easterbrook. That's her name. She was Debbie
The actress.
Callahan. Yeah.
Callahan, that's it.
Yeah.
Sergeant Callahan.
Yeah.
You got to watch
And
that
she
again.
was-
It's a classic.
Yeah.
I remember when she wanted to wrestle.
Mhm.
I think my favorite was when she was looking for volunteers for teaching CPR. But anyway. But Death Sparrow is definitely an interesting character. The figure looks awesome.
Yeah.
The loadout
love-
she has makes sense.
It's not removable, but on her backpack she has like that little pineapple, like old school. It's like was it a pineapple grenade, right?
Stick grenade.
Oh, stick grenade.
Stick grenade, yeah.
Yep.
It's like
Twisted
it's
throw.
molded in there, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a nice,
It's a
little
nice
detail.
touch. Yeah. And what we'll see as Retrograd is more detailed in the future, they're mostly taken out of Russian special forces guys and gals, the Spetsnaz or specialty type troops. They're well trained. how do you explain Spetsnaz? It's kind of a catch-all for anybody with special training. Is that a fair assumption? Yeah.
Yeah.
So these guys come from all walks of Russian military troops and
Yeah,
special
they're not
teams.
like GRU. From what I
No.
understand, like GRU is now like their new kind of like tactical high speed guys. But yeah, they're just specialists is really what it is.
Yeah.
Hello.
And that can mean a lot of things. Speaking of these guys, we'll move on to our Thunder Battalion. Yeah. They're all recruited from all across different Russian specialty units, whatever that's going to mean. So you've got kind of a hodgepodge of talent that's all been brought together, and they are mercenaries. They work under Despero, who is working under the Dark Shadows. So we don't know exactly how that arrangement works, but hey, come on and be a part of the show. We're good. You know, you're going to have to do a doggo cam.
She's just punching my microphone. I've done a dog cam. I did.
At least she hasn't tried to eat skid mark yet.
No. Skidmark's actually he's manning my restored Night Striker.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Great video, by the way.
He got promoted. Thank you.
Very cool.
Be right back.
Looking at the loadout on the Thunder Battalion, how does this work for you, Will? Are you digging what they got set up?
It's like the best. This is my favorite troop builder. Look at them; they just look great. Maybe if
I like the. I know that is a
visor,
specialty,
and they give you two versions. You have a blacked out, and then you have the red. I went with the red visor. I just think
it looks
cool.
good.
It pops. The backpack has some really nice molded and paint applied details there to it. That belt with the first aid kit and all the pouches on it just looks great.
Yeah, and there's even some paint apps on the accessory belt, right? The utility belt.
Yeah. You can see you get the little red cross there, and then just that black and gray color scheme, even going right to the gloves there. You know, just looks awesome. And then you take the helmet off, and you know they look. They're wearing
great. Okay, yeah, right on. Very cool. So you can kind of change out their look with all that.
Yeah. Very.
Now,
very
I'm not.
cool.
I've seen those type of helmets as part of Russian loadouts on some troops, but I'm not real familiar with exactly how that works. We'll talk to Chad about that when he comes back because he may know more. But yeah, I'm digging that. That is a cool setup. And again, this is one of our other army builders in Delta-17. Similar like with what we're going to see with the the Delta squads. They're going to be laid out for whatever mission they're going up in, to be a part of. I don't know yet, but they look cool and they're definitely versatile. What song did we pick for Thunder Battalion?
Thunderstruck.
Thunder. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Oh yeah,
it's an easy one. I think that was
it's a slam dunk
again, but it's come on, it fits. It fits though. These guys are coming down, and you just got that intro. Thunder.
Oh yeah. I can definitely see these guys rolling in. It's like you have been thunderstruck.
Oh yeah.
So great song, came out in 1990 on the Razor's Edge album. You hear that guitar riff, you know what's coming.
Sure.
It's one thing I didn't know is when they were writing the song, it's actually based on some Norse mythology. Things we learn. She just needs some TLC, man.
That's my cat.
That's the cat now. Yeah, I was gonna say the cat's getting in on it.
Took the dog out to feed her, and I came back, and the cat's like right here, and I'm like, all right, whatever.
So you're trading in your military status for Dr. Doolittle. You're gonna do a little walkabout with all the.
Well, I keep the cat here in case I feel like I need a mustache on stream.
There you go. Nice. So we were talking about the helmet setup. This is I know this is part of Russian gear. It's not a
Yeah.
riot troop type thing. It's something else. It's more for like heavy combat. Are you familiar with this type of setup?
Yeah, it's like that. I want to call it GIGN. I don't know if that's accurate, but yeah, it's pretty much like that, just juggernaut kind of deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's full head protection
Mhm.
for getting in
And
the
I was
thick
saying
of it.
the cool thing, Chad, is he gives you two versions. You got a blacked out version where the visor's blacked out, and you get a red version also. I just went with the red because I thought it popped, but I like that you get multiples. That's cool.
Well, it goes well with the pops of red on his accessories on his gear and stuff.
Yeah, and they got the
Yeah.
retro red symbol on their sleeve there. That's a really nice detail. Lots of great, like I said, sculpted details on these figures. Really, really cool.
Yeah. Again, attention to detail on this. We
Hey.
just chilling.
That's where I'm living. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I've got one passed out on the floor here, and I got another one hiding under my table. So yeah, it's a zoo. It's a thing. But I like the vibe where Retrograd is definitely their own thing, but their colors for their uniforms very much complement Dark Shadows. So you can see some cohesion there when you have your Okami and everybody else hanging out. So it's cool. Meow. So we chose Thunderstruck for our Thunder Battalion because it's a no-brainer. Of course that goes.
Yeah. Definitely a good like I said, just that intro alone, they're coming down.
Yeah. Thunderstruck is a freaking awesome song.
Now, when you guys are kicking it in the barracks, what's the general soundtrack? Has everybody kind of got their own flavor, or you guys have a lot of hard charging kind of stuff in your playlists when you're listening to your earbuds back at the base? Or
Everyone's kind of got their own thing going on, but I don't know, maybe because I'm in New Mexico, but you've either got the people listening to like country or rap, but then you have the people that like just only listen to rock, and I don't know. I was always big on like if you're going to listen to something, put in headphones, right? Because I don't want to hear, a whole bay full of noise.
Oh yeah, I remember back in the bachelor days of being in the barracks and somebody deciding to bring in the ghetto blaster. It's like, no, that ain't gonna fly.
No.
Yeah, that's a no.
Yeah.
So moving on to the other side of our baddies, we've got the Dark Shadows, and starting off with their army builder.
I know they're robot ninjas, so they probably don't have a preference to what they listen to. But I would just say that Shadow Dragon, probably while he's, programming or commanding them, maybe listens to it.
We did not go with Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. I thought about it, but it's like, no, that's cheesy.
I am.
These guys are loaded out, man. They got everything. Yeah. And, right here, he's got, one blade, the interchangeable hands. As a matter of fact, then you could put the hands on, and then he's got two swords that stow in the backpack. And if you could see there, there's storage for his hands, and I have one of his blades being held by one of the hands in storage.
Nice.
Can you see that?
So,
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, they come with everything. They have tons of great, awesome robot ninja sculpted details. The scythe, the ninja stars in there. If you look, they've got looks like some kind of like throwing darts on his chest. I mean, these guys are loaded out. They are maxed out, ready for total destruction.
Yeah, and unlike some other infantry bots that are just bullet sponges, these guys are nimble. They're programmed to be quite agile on the battlefield. So it'll be
It's like-
interesting to see
okay.
how that plays out.
Magna Guard from Revenge of the Sith and a battle android trooper and put them
Yeah.
together. And
Yeah. Great. Again, good color scheme, good design, good weapon choices. They're very much frontline troops, hand to hand or hand to sword. I like how this is working out, and they're very versatile. You've also got, normal rifles, but they've also got a plug-in rifle for one of the arm units as well. So you can set them up pretty much any way you like. So it'll be cool.
Yep. They are awesome.
But so we chose Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
Interesting song. Metallica, some people love them. Some people are like, yeah, whatever. They're overrated. I love the song. It's cool. I thought, looking at the lyrics, obviously it's more about, kind of a different storyline, but the idea of someone else, controlling them and, how they get led. Maybe it's a stretch, but I like the song. So that's what we chose. Would you guys have gone with something else, or anything else comes to mind when you think of the Okami?
I think it's fitting, just, electricity, right? Robotics. It's very fitting.
Yeah. For you factoid actually kids, Okami is Japanese for wolves. So this is literally a pack of wolves coming at you, and they are quite nasty. And we don't know how many there are. He just keeps cranking them out. So legions, perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
know.
really curious to seeing how they behave in the comic and beyond. I just want to see.
Absolutely.
But
So yeah, title track from the second studio album of Metallica. I love the cover art for this. I love this whole album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Metallica fan, but Ride the Lightning was
This was my
special.
first album. Yeah, this is
Was
where I found them. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome.
And again, not knowing until I delved into the playlist, the inspiration for the theme of the album came from Stephen King's book The Stand.
Yep.
Especially, some of the particularly talking about Ride the Lightning, that was a line from at least the film adaptation. I'm not sure if that's actually in the book, but I think it
very
is.
cool.
It's also slang for getting hit by a taser.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
So Okami, get plenty, because you need a bunch. They're cool, but this guy is definitely
Like
in a league of his own. He is our second in command for Dark Shadows. Very interesting character. Love the design concept for him. The black and gray look, the arm blade type weapons.
Oh, yeah.
Are kind of interesting.
That's where I'm living.
It's all good. What do you guys think of Jaguar? Have you looked into the character much?
I think he
Oh,
would
yeah.
kick the shit out of Firefly.
That's true.
he is just amazing. I love him. He looks great. I think we lost
I think
Chad.
the cat hit the wrong button.
Uh,
He'll pop back
yeah.
in a minute.
he looks awesome. That camo pattern, or Jaguar pattern that he has, painted on there. So
Yeah.
cool. That must have been, that couldn't have been easy to do. But yeah, once again, some really nice molded details. And I don't know if you could see it there, but even on the back of his belt, he's got a little red handle sticking out. That's a molded on knife stored
Nice.
into his back there. And just that little pop of red just looks really great. His backpack stores all of his extra equipment beautifully. And he comes with that
Right.
sniper rifle, the two, like baton blades. They're great.
Yeah. He's definitely got one of the more unique loadouts. Very cool stuff, very specialized to his character. I mean, he is an assassin, and I think the weaponry complements how he's set up in the storyline. He's got, his close and personal bladed weapons for doing some wet work, but he's also got that long range reach out and smack you from a rooftop or whatnot.
Yep.
I like the design.
My cat hit the escape button on my keyboard.
Yeah,
I figured.
that's great.
Yeah, I was telling her to move, and she just
What's this one?
Cat, yeah, cats are a menace.
my bad.
Cats are good chew toys for my 3 dogs. They like to,
Yeah.
they've got one cat that likes to walk the perimeter wall and terrorize them just out of reach. It's like, yeah, I know you can't do nothing. The Wizard, Black Sabbath. Never talking, just keeps walking, spreading his magic. In this case,
That's
spreading
it.
some mayhem. The character he's very low key, doesn't speak much in public, answers directly to the Grand Poobah. He's going to be interesting. This is going to be one to watch. I think he's going to be a big seller, just for the character design.
Yeah,
but
this is one of my favorite Black Sabbath songs, and the reason, it was lyrically somewhat, but I just love the song, so
yeah,
just throw it in there.
Very cool.
Yeah,
It's definitely a classic. You really see Ozzy shine on this song, I think. It's Black Sabbath. It's good stuff. It's old school.
Yeah.
And it is lyrically inspired by Gandalf of Lord of the Rings. Makes sense. So enough said. Not much to talk about there, but definitely a cool tune in the whole scheme of things for the vibe we're going for. Then we get to our big show, the Shadow Dragon.
Yeah.
Very interesting guy. I
Great
think
character.
in a one-on-one match with a certain hooded guy who enjoys Coco, I'm thinking Shadow Dragon's going to kick some booty. Not just in character design, but just the character overall. He's
the figure
depending on who's writing the character.
Yeah,
I think,
just absolutely fantastic.
And he has
oh,
a
yeah.
cape.
Comes with a
Gotta
cape
love the
with a
cape.
wire.
Yep.
It's got a wire
Yes.
in it. It's a beautiful quality cape with a wire. He's got sword storage there, and then you could also take that off and and pose him without it. I haven't removed it yet, but
But
that
he's
comes
versatile.
off.
He's got his commanding the troops regal look, and then he's got his down and dirty, going out with the troops. He's not afraid to get in the mix. He's not leading from the back. He's a leading from the front kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
digging it.
just-
I love the design. There's kind of almost a samurai kind of look with the helm.
Yep. Mhm. And some of
And
that
then like
armor.
the name Shadow Dragon with the
Yeah.
design of the character, it flows really well.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. So well
Very
done.
cool.
Mhm.
And considering his motif of wanting world domination, we think
War in the Shadows. Yeah.
indeed. Symphony of Destruction, Megadeth.
So
Gotta have some Megadeth in the
long.
mix.
Yeah.
And lyrically, I think this fits. The idea of just like the Pied Piper, leading the rats
Yep.
through the streets. We dance like marionettes, swaying to the symphony of destruction.
That's right.
The song lyrically talking about the idea of a phantom government ran by a one man in the shadows. I think that fits.
Yep.
So
That is Dark Shadows. Yeah, they've got they've bought and paid for just about that's the whole story of Delta-17, right? That these guys are all operating outside of the constraints of government and all that, because they've got funding beyond belief. They've got the ability to act, and Shepard puts together that team, the Delta-17 team,
as a
counter to
response.
that. Yeah, as a response to that. And
again, parallels with what we're seeing with what Bobby Val has been building. These are covert teams. They're not in the public eye. They're in the shadows, as we see with Delta-17. So this is very much a covert war, and it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out. on the timeline, is this near future right now? I'm not exactly sure.
I think it's near future.
Is
but
it near
it's,
future?
It's modern day, near future.
Yeah.
But it takes place in this, the real world. Nothing, like I said, all of this is being done kind of behind the scenes. You don't hear about it. These guys are going to, the Delta-17 guys have saved multiple countries' asses many times over, and no one knows anything about it. And these guys are wreaking havoc and, pulling the strings to collapse governments,
Right, but they're not putting their stuff on Front Street. It's all behind the
Nope.
scenes.
No, it's not.
and-
Shadow Dragon's not showing up on a big monitor on the jumbotron going $1 million. Yeah. You buffoons. He's not doing that.
control the weather. No,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
that.
Basically, I would say that, if him and, these guys show up, you're probably not going to live to tell the tale, so.
Right. Yeah.
they're
So,
coming in and-
yeah, not a lot of eyewitness accounts after.
No.
And future forward works. It's a time honored thing. GI Joe was always kind of future forward, and it fits well with a lot of these based in reality, but not now. Just maybe a little bit in the future.
Yeah. And I like how, the Delta-17 crew is going to, they're kind of going to travel the world over and maybe pick up special operatives from many different places. We could see that already with Kestrel. She was a double agent. She was working. And I think on one of her jobs, she kind of saw the light, or she saw what was going on. And that's where she made contact with Delta-17 and joined them.
Right. And in the core team, we already see an international cooperation. Kestrel is from Polish Special Forces. We've got Canadian troops there. We've got Americans. And we're going to see some other international soldiers coming into this as well, I think. So it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fun, man. I had fun putting this together, matching characters and songs. I think we should definitely try doing this again with some other stuff in the future. And who knows what Wave 2 will hold for Delta-17. I know that's in development, but we're here to celebrate Wave 1 because it's up, it's out, it's what's happening. And this is the place to go. Delta17toys.com. Buy 5x5 Toys Limited. Try saying that 5 times fast.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm really enjoying this entire O-ring renaissance. They're my favorite toys, or my favorite era of toys, and just a good time to be a toy nerd, right? I mean,
absolutely,
it really is.
We've said it many times. I love the 1/12 scale for attention to detail and characters. But if you're world building, you want to do vehicles and play sets and stuff, 1/18 scale's where it's at, and these guys are there. Yep. Please don't forget about your code for your 10% off on 6 figures or more. I can't talk. I need more coffee. Delta 10 off is the code. And again, that'll link in the description below. Go get your dollies, folks, because Delta 17 is where it's at.
Dolly 17 toys.
I know it.
Dolly 17.
It's a meme in the making.
Yeah.
So
and hey, and let us know what songs, let us know what songs you like. Comment below. Tell us in the chat. We'd like to hear.
Yeah, and if anybody out there in our community, I know somebody's not crazy about that word, but we're a community. Hey,
if you want to put together a playlist for a toy line,
send
it in.
Let us know. We'll take a look because we have fun doing this. We learn a lot about the music from the suggestions we get from people who come on the show. And we're just having fun. So coolness.
What it's about.
That's it. Anything you guys want to plug coming up, or words of wisdom before we back out of this and go about our ways?
Wilbert.
118 for life. Yeah. No, I don't.
Damn straight.
That's right.
That's all I got.
No,
That's
nothing really.
This will probably come out for our Sunday crowd in lieu of our typical 118 show. So, in thinking of that timing of when it will come out, You have a special guest coming up, Chadsworth, on your Chadtastic show. Want to talk about that? You've got one of our favorite guys.
Yeah, so Michael from RetroBlasting will be joining me again. He
Sweet.
and I haven't hung out since September. So there was a specific topic that I wanted to discuss, and it was customers or fans, right? And what does it mean when you see these toy companies, putting out like social media posts and they're like, for the fans and the fans and the fans and the fans, and when do customers become fans? When is one good and when is one bad, and why do they do that? And I wanted to have this discussion, and I only wanted to have it with Michael. So I reached
Yeah.
out to him and I said, hey, like, there's this thing that I've been wanting to talk about. These two are just fighting. There's this thing that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and I laid out kind of where my mindset was, and he was like, oh, I'm all over that. So
I think that's a great guest for that conversation.
he's the
Simply because
perfect guest for that.
yeah. He's very well spoken when it comes to looking at where things are in the industry and how the industry looks at us.
Mhm.
Thank you for not using the word consumer. It's like, I'm not a freaking locus. I don't consume. I'm a customer. I'm looking for things to add to the collection. So that's my pet peeve. I hate being called.
And
a
the
consumer.
funny thing is, I see a differentiation between consumers and collectors as well.
Yes.
Right? So within the whole like dolly space, I see those who are collectors and I see those who are consumers. And my personal perception, right, because we all perceive the information we take in differently, and that's what makes us unique. I see a clear line of delineation between the two. And do I believe there are people who just consume toys? Yep.
We see it, especially in certain hyped up lines that may or may not deserve the hype. Your mileage will vary. Sometimes I think brand recognition only goes so far if you're not putting out a quality product anymore. I'll just say that.
And then when you bring it around full circle, that's where the whole we're fans, right? Because if you're a fan, you just kind of go along.
Do you, though?
Like fans will let these companies just do to them because they're like, well, I mean, I'm a fan of the line. What else am I going to do? It's like, don't buy it.
Exactly.
You don't have to be a fan. You're a customer, right? You pay money for goods that are supposed to be of a specific quality and, quantity and availability and affordability. But since you're a fan, you just blindly support.
Well, at this point, I am a fan of Delta-17. I think the quality is there. The QC is there. I'm loving the O-ring renaissance with modern touches in how the design and weaponry and storyline fit all together. So it touches the nostalgia nerve, if you will, just for how the line is laid out, but it's definitely forward thinking. So I'm digging it. This was fun. Thank you, Chad, for jumping in and being our man on the spot. I always enjoy hanging with you, and I figure, talking military stuff. Yeah, we'll do another playlist. I definitely would love to see the ma'am join you at some point and see some tunage from the other side of the Chadsville.
A lot of gangster rap.
Really? Would not have
yeah,
expected that.
The ma'am gets down. She gets down with the vulgarity and the gangster rap.
That is a conversation for another day, sir. Yeah. Will, always good to see you, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Anything coming up in Wilhelm's workshop? Or
no,
are you just
I've just been
volleys?
Just working and trying to squeak in some time, talking to friends, hanging out, playing with
working.
toys whenever I can.
Poor working man.
Delta-17. Hell yeah.
I do. Since you do have the full line already, sir, I would love to see what vehicles you have from other lines that are compatible with Delta-17. Maybe we could do some test fitting at some point. Yeah. Maybe a future 118 show. Just planting a thought there, planting the seed.
Yeah. Yeah, they all fit pretty well. And I would say, the only challenges are the tall guys, Rooster and Preacher. Some of the fitment, was just enough, on some vehicles. On other ones, it's loosey goosey. You can fit them in there.
Cool. Well, gentlemen, let's do it again sometime in the near future. And
Absolutely.
celebrations and salutes to Delta-17, a fine bunch of ne'er-do-wells and hoodlums putting together some fun stuff for us to go and play with and put on our shelves and do whatnot. So enjoy, and we will see you in the very near future. I'm going to play us out.